We're going to continue to add windows in this. This will be lesson 5. We have most of the walls drawn. I'm going to go to the floor plan. And because we're in hidden line mode, the wall drawings occlude a view of the CAD file below. So I'm going to have to change the visual settings to wireframe. I'm going to make these the window openings that we see full height. So let's measure some real quick. Okay, so it looks like typical 4.0. Let's proceed with that window. We did create that type. Fixed. Oh no, we don't have a 4.0 window. So let's go to Window. Edit type, duplicate it. We call this 4 foot width by 11.6. Change the width to 4. And let's go in and start placing it where we need it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Insert conflicts with wall, we know that. We can fix that afterwards. These openings, these appear to be a 6 foot window. So let's go to the 6 foot. 6. Now that's a 4 again. We're back to 4. Back to 4. 4. No, that's maybe that's a 5. Let's measure it. Annotate. 4.5 feet. Architecture window. Let's duplicate this type. 4.6 by 11.6. 4.5 feet. And that looks like it might be 4. Yeah, we've got a pretty wide one there, huh? Doesn't look like 8 feet. Let's try the 6 foot. No, it could be 8. No, it's actually 7.5, right? So let's edit this type, duplicate it, make 7.6. 7.6. And that width is going to be 7.5 feet. I'm simplifying somewhat. That might actually be 7, but we're not going to worry about that right now. There, no, we'll probably have a 4 foot. No, wider than 4 feet. 4'6". Looks like 4'6" with something else in it, but we're going to have to reconcile these afterwards. So let's go to a 3D view. Everybody understand what we've done here? We've basically created those openings without regard to the mullion, the transom heights. So there's different stuff going on vertically, which we'll have to account for. Let's save this out. File save as. This will be version 5. How are we doing on YouTube? Posting these videos so that you guys can enjoy them. Let me pause this for 1 second. So, openings, let's continue with that. We don't have openings in the elevator. There's a door, architecture door, opening. And I'm going to select 32 by 84 for the elevators. No, I don't want the single flush door. I want the door opening 36 by 84. Let's choose a 3-foot opening. Actually, those openings are going to be 3.5 feet. I could get into an entire class about elevator door openings. I do have some videos about that, but let's duplicate this type and call this a 42-inch by 84 elevator door opening. Okay, and make that 3.5 feet. Okay. That modified the one that we placed. Let's continue to place it. So notice that the door is not centered in the elevator, and there's a reason for that. The geometry of taking a gurney, right, a patient on wheels, and being able to get through that door and fit it into the elevator works best if the door is off to one side, and that's why the doors are not centered. If you want, I'll provide a link to a recording that addresses that. Well, some of these doors we neglected to fix the handing. Let's go ahead and do that. Notice, by the way, how the doors are ganged together in pairs, and they're not placed in the same location for each room. It would be very monotonous to have that. It's a little bit better to have, these sort of Siamese doors in pairs like that next to each other. Think about that when you're laying out spaces. I think we got the rest of those. Stair. Physics. Okay. Another thing that we're going to need that we haven't modeled yet are floors. Now, let's look at a building elevation. Right? The elevation values that we have, these are relative to sea level. So these are absolute values. And we can adjust for that in Revit. Right now, we haven't done that, but we do know that the floors, the floor-to-floor height between the 5th floor and the 6th floor is 12.5 feet. We're assuming 1 foot of that is the thickness of the floor. If we measure in this drawing, what appears to be, right, the distance of that spandrel, I think we can safely say let's try again. From there to the underside, okay. 12 inches is going to be a good guess. Let's create a floor on level 5 and create a floor on level 6. Maybe we'll create some floors below and provisionally start to pencil in the rest of this model. This is an unusual, well, not unusual, this is a typical way to proceed sometimes with Revit model. The rest of the model is incomplete, but the floor that you're focusing on needs to be flushed out. So I think you, with that concept in mind, see if you can follow along what I'm doing here. I'm on level 5 and I want to create the outline of the floor. Architecture, floor, generic 12-inch floor is going to do just fine. I'm in sketch edit mode. The green context menu is telling me that. So I am going to choose a line tool, line drawing instrument, to basically draw my floor to about the center line of the walls. And where the curtain wall exists, I'm going to draw to the exterior face of the wall. Alright, so let's go around the building and create the outline of the floor. The pink line is generating. Remember, the floor tool is defined by its shape. So I'm creating the shape of the floor. Here is a curtain wall, so I'm flush with the curtain wall. Here is an opaque exterior wall. I'm center line of it. Actually, we'd like the core line of the wall, but we'll talk about that later. Up to there. My curtain wall continues here. Curtain wall continues to the center line of that wall, and that's it, right? If I want, I can sort of refine the edge of those floors so that it's coincident with my curtain wall. Let's see where else the curtain wall exists. There. The curtain wall is here. Right. clearly we need openings in the floor for the stairwells and all that. But for all intents and purposes, I now have the outline of the floor. Click Finish. Go to our 3D view. Now you see we have a floor. Let's punch through the openings for the elevator shaft and stairwells. And, well, maybe any other vertical penetrations that we can identify. So let's go to floor plan level 5. To select the floor is a little bit tricky because it doesn't reveal its edge, but if I select elements by face, I can select the floor. Oh, I have to be in hidden line mode. So there's the floor. Let us modify its boundaries. Edit boundary. I'm going to draw the opening for the elevator shaft. So I'm just outlining the inside face of those walls. I need an opening for the stairwell here. So now keep in mind, the landing is part of the floor. Stairs go up this way, so here is, this appears, that appears to define the opening of the stair. Everybody see that? So this is a landing. You walk out, you're not going to drop into the stairwell. With that in mind, this appears to be some kind of vertical duct. I'm going to provide for that opening. I'm going to ignore some of the rest of this. We need opening for these stairs. It's going to be a rectangle that stops at the edge of where that stair begins. Probably this is a, some kind of major vertical penetration. Alright, we might as well draw it. Oh, no, we're going to ignore that. Okay, now we finish edit. Back to the 3D view. Let's create another 3D view, duplicate the view, without and hide the visibility in this view of the AutoCAD drawing. So we're not going to show imported. So this is going to help us sort of understand what we did. So what did we just do? We created openings in the floor for where the elevators go, where the stairs go up and down, major vertical circulation, vertical probably duct work. Right, so we're starting to get a really good sense of what the floor is. We don't know the nature of these doors. I probably should have checked about that. But the iterative nature of modeling, it's really important to understand that. Because this is off into 20 minutes now. I'm going to deal with the curtain wall model things separately. But think about this. I can select this floor, copy it to the clipboard, and if it were identical on level 6, that is the floor between level 6 and level 7, I could paste it aligned to a selected level. In this case, I would select level 6. So you're starting to get a sense of the enclosure that we've created. All right? Let's go a little bit further. Duplicate that view again. And let's rename this, because I want to illustrate something called a section box. Rename. Let's call it 3D section box view. And turn on this thing called section box. And now, so what the section box is, it draws a box around the entire model whose edges you could bring in and allow you to cut and interrogate, examine the inside of any part of that model. So if I were interested in looking at the physics rooms over here, that would be a way for me to look inside of those rooms. And these are the rooms that we're likely to use in the Neutron project in the spatial model. This has gone on longer than I wanted to. And let's save. Did I save it as lesson 5? I think I did. File save. Okay.